So I came out here to check on Mark, and he's working on the harvest cedar again. And what he's done is he has taken...
harvest cedar?
Yeah.
The potato cedar.
Potato cedar, ugh.
Eight in between.
He took the chair that's up there off the old one,
Right behind you?
off this one, and it kind of sits on the back. But it looks like you've taken everything off of it.
Only the parts I need so far.
Yeah. So he's putting pipes here so that this will slide into it and the chair will sit here.
It's got to be modified, but basically that's it.
Mm-hmm. And this is the grill for standing, but you don't need that because you have the really two nice grills,
Don't
right?
need it, and it's going to get in the way of these, the spring and this.
Uh-huh.
It's got to be able to go up and down, and that would be like right in here. So
Uh-huh. Yeah.
it's all right. We got a foot on each side; it'll work.
Yeah.
And
But
these go in there like that,
Mm-hmm.
and then they get. I gotta cut these, and then weld them onto the side. They'll go in here. They'll tighten down. Everything will work.
So you can see Mark next to this new potato cedar. Come stand by the other potato cedar, just for you to understand the size of it. Yeah, so this one we bought very cheaply at the very beginning.
Before I knew what we were doing.
Yeah, and it didn't fit our tractor. It was way too small.
That's okay, because I have some ideas on this pulley down here, or this sprocket, and then it goes to the back axle, and there's another sprocket there. Remember that harvest basket that I made? Well, I want it to get rid of more of the dirt and only end up with a basket full of potatoes. Right now it's about 50-50, potato and dirt. And we always got to stop, and it's
Shake it, yeah.
it's better for us right now, a lot quicker than bending over for every potato. So now we empty the basket into a bag, but we got to kind of knock the dirt out of it first. I'm hoping that I might be able to come up with some sort of idea to knock the dirt out before the potatoes even get to the basket.
Mm-hmm. So I showed you in the other video
So-
that this is one big container, whereas over here it's two little ones. And you can see here the size of grabbing the potatoes versus if I were to do it here, you can see that is much, much bigger. Yeah. Probably 1.5 times at least.
That one is half a bag in each one, because the part that pulls up the potato is so weak that if you fill it up with potatoes, it can't dig a potato, it can't lift a potato out, it always bends. Okay, so that was the biggest problem. We could only fill it up about, half a sack of potato in each one, because then it would lift them out. Full like this, it won't lift them out. It bends.
So that's probably, what, 1 inch across, that chain?
Yeah. A little smaller.
A little smaller than 1
Yeah.
inch. And this chain is how wide?
Inch and a half.
1.5 inches, yeah.
And the metal for this is much stronger,
Yeah.
thicker.
And of course we can, it's one big bin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I suspect that if it was full, it would probably have a problem lifting the potatoes also. We'll have to see.
Yeah. Who was the manufacturer of this one?
I have no idea.
know.
I manufactured it.
The other one was Chinese, I know that for sure.
Yeah.
But
I don't know who the design and all that, but I put it together.
yeah, of course.
So I manufactured it.
You didn't manufacture it, you put it together, you assembled it.
I assembled, okay.
Yeah, so that should help us plant our potatoes much better next year. And another problem that we had is that this old one had discs on the back.
That was the biggest problem.
Yeah, and they did not pile up the furrow at all. And Mark tried to work with them and switch them, and it didn't do anything. So this one has 3 plows. And so that's what we were very interested in. And they've got the wings on them so you can
I did
adjust
everything I
them.
could to get them to spread out.
Those discs, yeah.
those discs, to get them to to dig better, to turn this way, turn that way, everything. And not only I, but about 4 other guys did the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I remember I was out, I think it was this year, you and I were out there, and you would do a little bit and we'd change it, and we'd do a little bit and change it, and
Yeah.
it just never worked. But this one with the plows and the wings that can be made wider and all that, it's going to work much better and make the furrows on top of our potatoes better. But also, this, I don't know if you can see, is right in line with the tires, whereas the other one was not. So,
Right, it was a little narrower, so if the tire wants to run right down the valley of the furrow between the potatoes, and it would always kind of put the next row too close.
and so he was constantly trying not to run over them, but he was running over half of the furrows. There's just no way around it. But this one, again, it's right behind the tires, so this is going to give us some really nice big furrows here and here between the plows, and it'll be much easier for the harvester as well, because now the harvester does one row, but it can sometimes catch the next row because it's a little bit too close.
Or because it's a little crooked,
A little crooked, yeah.
going down there. And another thing is bad is with the furrow on that. The furrow is just small, about so big, and 6 inches up off the ground. But as the rain hits it and the weather goes, it ends up down to almost nothing. So then we got to come by and we got to pull the weeds out, or this year we cut them and then we picked them up and moved them off. Well, there's no furrows. So the only way we can find the potatoes now is to look for the little piece of potato, the root, the stalk for the leaves. Because there's usually a little, looks like an umbilical cord
Yeah, it
kind of
does.
thing, just a little one hanging out of the ground, and we look for those, and I just have to blindly go. That's where the potatoes are, but it might do a little of this back and forth, and it's like, I don't know. But with this thing, the furrows are going to be probably 10 inches high, and by the time we get to harvest, there'll be at least half of that furrow there, at least.
Well, also, the plow system that we have that also furrows the potatoes a little bit more as they grow was not working with the small one because it
Right.
wasn't the right measurements.
That is a little too narrow, and the plow that we could use to furrow, it's just like this with the same kind of measurement, but we couldn't do that because to try to get it to stay on remember the tire rides in the furrow, but the next one is kind of too narrow, and it's like, it just, nothing measured right. It just wouldn't work.
Yeah, so
So this should clear that up. This is like in between a monoblock,
which is a walk behind tiller.
a walk behind tiller, and a monoblock tractor, which is a riding walk behind tiller kind of thing. Okay.
It's just got 4 wheels
So
instead
it's
of
got
2.
4 wheels. They modify it to get 4 wheels on it. So it's still just the same thing, but this would fit on there good. And on the tractor, it's too small.
Yeah.
This one is as big as the tractor can handle.
Yeah, so you can see from there, I'm standing right in the middle, the difference in size, yeah. So hopefully this will make our job a lot easier next year, planting the potatoes and then furrowing them afterwards, which keeps our furrows higher, which means the potatoes grow higher. And then when we harvest, the potatoes are more almost on top of the ground, not deep in the ground.
Remember the old car washes where you come and you drive through and you get out of your car and it just kind of pushes it forward? It's not a conveyor belt, or maybe a chain, but there's a roller in front of your tire and in back of your tire, one to keep it from rolling forward too far and one to keep pushing it forward a little more and a little more. And it goes through all the things, and then comes out the other end. Guys dry it off out there. Well, a furrow would work the same kind of way. Of course, the power comes from the tractor, but once you get in the furrow there, it's like a rut in the road. It just keeps on following that line.
Mm-hmm.
With this, it was hard to do that, but with this, it should do it pretty good.
And we are excited if you can't tell.
Well, it's still half a year off till
Yeah.
we plant again, but
Yeah, but it should make it so much easier.
yeah.